Good evening. I'm Arsenio in for Piers Morgan. Our big story tonight is the verdict in the Tyler Clemente case. He's the Rutgers University freshman who killed himself in 2010 after he learned that his roommate had used a hidden webcam to spy on his sexual encounter with another man. And today, that roommate, Darren Ravi, was convicted on most of the charges. Joining me to talk about the case that shocked the nation, attorney Lisa Bloom, author of Think, and Dr. Drew Pinsky, host of HLN's Dr. Drew. Let's start legally. Take the nation through this decision.
It's a fairly complicated decision. There were 15 counts alleged. He was found guilty of most of the 15. What the jury had to do was look at a set of facts that were pretty clear. We know from all of the technological evidence about the tweets, about the emails, about where the computer and the webcam was. We know that the defendant put a webcam, unbeknownst to the victim, in the dorm room and videotaped him having sex with another man, that he tweeted about it, he emailed about it, and a lot of negative language about gay men. So that was all very clear. But the hard thing for the jury was to get inside the mind of Mr. Ravi, the defendant, and get inside the mind of the victim, Mr. Clemente. You know, they have to do that in criminal law all the time, and it's very difficult. And what the jury ultimately said was, we can't say that Mr. Ravi, the defendant, intended a hate crime, but we can say that Mr. Clemente received it as a hate crime. And so he was found guilty of a number of bias crimes and, of course, of invasion of privacy. He's looking at 10 years behind bars now.
I keep hearing about him being sent back to India. How does that work now with this decision?
Yes, that can happen. He can be deported. And he was offered a plea deal several months ago where he would only have to do community service, get counseling, and the state would try to prevent him from being deported. That was denied. And now, as he's been convicted of felonies, he is facing deportation. Okay,
Dr. Drew, let's look at the dad. I have a clip I want you to see. Check this out.
To our college, high school, and even middle school youngsters, I would say this. You're not necessarily you're going to meet a lot of people in your lifetime. Some of these people you may not like, but just because you don't like them does not mean you have to work against them. When you see somebody doing something wrong, tell them, that's not right. Stop it.
That's Tyler Clemente's dad. Do you think he will feel that justice was served?
Oh, I do. I mean, the fact is that he was really found guilty of just about everything.
Yes.
I mean, it's just sort of legal nuance that there was aspects where he was found, where he was acquitted. But the reality is the jury spoke, and it's pretty clear they held him accountable for what he did. What I like about what Mr. Clemente's saying here, though, is that, hey, it's no longer okay in this country to be a screwball in college. You know, there are a lot of screwballs out there doing a lot of screwbally things. I hope I'm being clear enough with my use of language. but you know what? When we hurt other people, it's not okay. And you, everyone else who's around the screwball, I have no other word to use tonight, but have to speak up as well, because commission will be held accountable here as well. So you've got to speak up when you see somebody doing something wrong. And by the way, let me say something sympathetic towards Mr. Ravi, which is if one of his friends had spoken up, he wouldn't be in this position. You know, he might have made him think twice about what he was doing. Sometimes, listen, these are kids. Sometimes somebody just shake them and get them to think about what they're doing. No one did that. Most of them felt uncomfortable. They participated to one degree or another. And as a result, we have this verdict.
Did Ravi's tweets nail him?
I think they did. You know, when he says, this is my roommate with a dude, yay, that indicates his anti-gay animus. And let's all keep in mind that LGBT hate crimes, crimes against lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transsexual people, are at 6 times the rate of other hate crimes in this country. I mean, we have a real epidemic. We have an epidemic of teen suicides from gay and lesbian people. So we all have to be very sensitive to this. Somebody might look at this as this was a kid being a screwball, just fooling around online. But the real-world consequences to this case speak very loudly.
And in my world, that is the message tonight, which is that this is not something that can be taken casually. You can't sit back and wait on these issues because it's literally costing people's lives. The bullying that is going on, particularly in social media and through the internet these days, is not something that's just unpleasant. It is something that has real-world consequences. And you know, I think a loud message has been sent today.
So will we look back one day at this like it was Brown versus Board of Education for social media? Will this be the precedent legally?
This is only a trial court decision. It's not a Supreme Court decision like Brown versus Board, which I agree was one of the most important court cases in our country's history. But I hope everyone will see this as a wake-up call, that online bullying is not okay, that we have a long way to go in terms of education for tolerance for LGBT folks. We have a very long way to go. And what a tragedy, what a loss for a Roberto Clemente in this case, you know, a top student in high school, a top violinist, I mean, with a very promising future, and he took his own life because he was so humiliated by his roommate.
And I think we said his name wrong. It's Tyler Clemente.
Oh, sorry.
Did you say Roberto Clemente? I liked him too, though. I did. But I want to paraphrase what Lisa just said, Arsenio. No. Because I think that we're going to have to go through this and through this and through this, unfortunately. This is not the first time. It's not the last time. It's just a nice, clear message. And it's something I've been dealing with on my show regularly, which is the online bullying issue. And this is not the first death. It's not the first guilty finding of guilt in this regard. But it's an important one, and I think it's one we will point at as part of the turning of the tide.
Okay, I know Jersey law is different than law in most states regarding this. You want to explain that?
Most states do have hate crimes laws. Jersey's is a little bit complicated because of what I just talked about. You have to get inside the mind of the defendant. You have to get inside the mind of the victim. There are a lot of different elements. But I want everyone to be clear that hate crimes are illegal everywhere, whether it's based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or gender. I mean, this is a very important issue for the country, and I urge parents who are concerned about this case to talk to your kids. What kind of language are you using about your schoolmates?
Hey,
what do you think is a joke? It's something that can be very harmful to somebody else.
By the way, this has leaked over into how people speak about women these days. I mean, those stories have been in the press constantly. How people are referring to women, whether it's a right or the left. There have been some awful language directed at women these days.
Like Rush Limbaugh.
Well, that's the latest version of it, but there's a lot of horrible language.
There's guys like Bill Maher on the other side.
That's true.
That's right. And women, I don't think, speak up loudly enough about it. I mean,
I'm pretty loud.
Well, but you're here talking about LGBT issues, but I think...
Nobody accuses me of not being loud.
I think, well, you're right. When you get right down, at least, you're right.
You know, I'm the father of a 12-year-old. Kids who are bullied, kids who are bullies, what should we as parents be telling our children?
Well, the most important thing I tell parents is not what they tell themselves, and don't ever tell yourself, not my kid. Then no matter what, no matter what the issue is, it can be your kid, right? We can't imagine it's our kid. We don't want to believe it's our kid, but it can be our kid, and we have to be vigilant. We have to do the job of parenting, whether it's shaping their value system, how they relate to substances, or how they talk about other people. It is really important. And keep in mind, by the way, that the ones that are bullied sometimes become the bullier and vice versa. And so, you know, if you at one time are defending your kid against bullying, keep an eye on that kid, because tables might flip someday.
And just a very specific example for parents. I actually just wrote a book about this called Swagger, which is coming out in 2 months.
I think it's good, too, by the way. I read it. It's
and
really,
the current
really
book
good.
is Think.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I implore parents to get the username and password for every account that your kid has, whether it's Facebook or Twitter.
Right. I want to say
if your kid is under the age of 18, you have the right to do that.
The internet then becomes your friend. You can be a source of tons of information. It's a way to monitor kids, while if they're out there on their own, it's like putting them out in the world at an underage.
Let me tell you, as an attorney, I know that the state can't go on people's private Facebook pages or Twitter pages, but parents can.
And
parents have the right and the obligation to go on. You might find out, for example, God forbid, that your child is suicidal. Better you find that out now. You might find out that your child is bullying. You can have a conversation with your kid.
And a little note.
Children should have no rights of privacy on the internet.
For parents out there, because I know a lot of parents want to hear this, is that you can go downstream and hear how other kids are talking about your kid. You can keep going and looking around. Tons of information on the internet, but you must be internet savvy. You must educate yourself.
You're not going to sneak around. You're going to tell your kid, yes, you can have a Facebook account, but I'm going to go on there whenever I want, and I'm going to look at what's happening. And if you don't like that, you don't have to have a Facebook account. I mean, you would not allow your child to wander around the globe at the age of 16 or 17 on their own. They should not be allowed to wander around the World Wide Web on their own.
And I would point at this case, any opportunity parents have to talk about how serious this matter is. Look what's going to happen to Mr. Ravi. He's going to be in prison potentially, deported, both. And this is not a trivial or a casual matter. This is somebody's dead, somebody's going to prison, and needs to be addressed accordingly by our parents.
This will follow Mr. Ravi the rest of his life. Even if he stays in the U.S., he may not be able to vote. He's going to check the box on every job application that he's a convicted felon. You know, he may be ineligible for student loans, ineligible for a lot of jobs. I mean, this is going to have consequences literally for the rest of his life.
Is this a rumor? Did Ravi try to apologize, but we think the message never got to Clemente?
There's some conversation he had with him that still is unknown.
There was an email.
Yeah.
But we don't think that Tyler Clemente received it.
Well, and he intended, there's all this information about him feeling remorse, or at least alleging remorse, but never really getting it to Mr. Clemente.
Yeah, Tyler Clemente's email that he was going to jump off the George Washington Bridge was before that.
Thank you both. This is what I needed to get me focused. I hope
it's so good to have you here at CNN.
Yes,
Come back.
It really is. Come back and show here.
I'll do cue cards even if they don't give me a job to come back to this position. When I come back here with you,